Hello and welcome to another video where today we're taking a look at the Mecha Blood Why Not. It is a fairly interesting one with the new support cards like Tamer. It does an amazing job. Mechaforge Devil also isn't a half a bad card, although I don't know if I'm entirely sold on it. It does have a decent effect, but we'll have to wait and see. Overall though, Urias, super powerful card. No matter what, I think it's just really good. This of course is an Avengers based deck, so we're not running the Succulent or Succubus, Vampire, whatever, the other new legendary card, just because it's absolutely not needed in this variation. But it is a pretty fun deck. It does a wonderful job using both mono and, of course, our big guy, Steel Wrought Vampire, as its kind of main finishes. It definitely makes for a interesting build. So we're going to get right into this and check it out. So our first match here is against Haven. Unlike our yesterday match, where Haven actually was up against Blood for its start and ended up winning, this time around we're on the negative end. This is typically one of the harder matches to win, I found, especially if the Haven player starts with a solid healing base. If they do, you're pretty much screwed. You really need to have just as good a hand to match them on every turn. But if you can keep their board mostly clear, it's usually not an issue. You just really can't let them swarm up on you. If they do, it'll be pretty much game over from there. Also, it does turn out that Entrancing Blow doesn't actually need to hit a follower. It can just buff a card straight up, so it is a 2 card for +2, which is actually not too bad at all for that, plus being potential removal. So I did go for the Urias, maybe in the mistake, probably should have went for it next turn, but at least it bought us some time. Took up their turn, which is a bonus. We're also going to get a chance to go for our Unleashed Nightmare, which does have some decent odds of giving us some good followers, especially the Machina cards, or the Machina cards, sorry. Going for those really does help. But really, you're just looking for a body of any kind, and that will usually do the job. So we should be able to pretty much wipe this at this point. Although I did take a bit of a risk here and probably played it in the incorrect order. I definitely should have went for Tamer first, Evo, trade, then done the buffing. And Tamer actually makes it super easy to get mono ready. I used to struggle getting mono set up and ready in advance enough in the previous metas since it's been introduced, but with Tamer it's actually quite easy and not really an issue at all. You can pretty much just play it straight out and have no issue. You instantly get 3 bodies that have to be killed, which is pretty great. It's a little bit better than Bat, since Bat is a 1/1 and can be easily banished. But in this situation, it just works wonders. Plus, again, I love the immediate board, so 2 Tamers in a row and you've pretty much already got what you need. So we are going to take this out and then probably set ourselves up with a nice Urias. Or we can also go for the Mechaforge, but probably not this turn. I have found that I use my Evos probably more than I should have, considering Urias actually has some really good potential to, of course, Evo for 5 damage. So it could have been a much more substantial turn. Also here, I probably could have just went straight for the mono, played it out. I think I would have been at like 16 damage, 17 damage with Urias. It would have been absolutely insane, but we did hold off, mainly because I blanked that the Serpents were actually classed as Machina cards, thanks to, of course, Tamer's effect. Also, I'm not sure if mono was actually active yet, so I probably wasn't thinking about it. That's probably the main reason I actually didn't decide to take that route. So putting in some absolute work here. Really no issue at all dealing with this, and we've set up a nice wall now, so they're not getting over that easy. But this is the kind of game I like, where you can pretty much control the board your whole game and not have to worry at all. Zoe, Queen of Hope, not bad. Especially since they're aiming, obviously, for those draws. But it is going to cost them a fair bit here if they want to have a chance. Which actually end up leading to their concede, obviously not able to get around all of these cards and probably fearing a mono play. Next up, I'm up against Forest. Going second this time as well here, should be interesting. Armored Bat, Hellblaze Demon, and Metal Bat Demon. Hellblaze not really needed. Metal Bat's actually okay in this situation since we can set up the Armored Bat on 3 and potentially still have a board on 5 against Forest, so that should go down okay. We do really need a turn 1 play though, ideally. Not that I can think of any in this deck actually off the top of my head. So we're going to be relying on the turn 2 play, which of course is just going to be Mecha Wing. Because Mecha Wing does a nice job of setting up a trade here. Aria's Whirlwind though does crush our hopes and dreams, so that's a little disappointing. They were probably holding on to a fairy for that in particular, that's why they didn't play that till now. Whirlwind Rhino Roach. So we already know what they're going to go for their win condition, but that does take a while. You do have to get it to at least 6 damage on the Roach itself before it gets Storm, because you have to add +5 to its base 1, so it's definitely a tough card to get to win easily, especially when you're going up against an aggressive deck like Blood. And we've now set ourselves up for a full-on mono without any issue at all this time. That's provided, of course, they don't banish, but the odds of Forest banishing is nearly 0, or basically 0 at this point. So it's mostly just going to be these trades, which we can deal with pretty easily. And then we just need to take out the 5/3. It's really the only problem card now. Luckily though, Metal Blade Demon going to do a great job removing this, getting that 2 ping from its evo effect, plus we picked up a couple of draws, so we can actually set ourselves up for a nice slaying. Especially since we still have a Hellblaze Demon, and we do have the potential to at least go a little bit wider. So we have the Mega Forge Devil with its evo effect, getting us a little bit more value out of this. Probably could have done this a little bit better, to be honest, but the Unleashed Nightmare was an okay play and did get us a mono. I probably should have played the 1-drop first. I wouldn't have then lost a card. Definitely could have put myself in a better position there. But at the same time, we would have probably burned our next draw anyway, so I guess either way, we were going to lose 1 card. Or potentially lose 1 card, I guess. So 1 in 3, doesn't really matter what it hit. I really just wanted the buff. Getting that setup going. Getting that Hellblaze as well, bringing it to 9. This game is definitely one that I had to go into the long game for, and I really hate doing that as a Blood player. It's not a good thing when you go into the long game, but at least the new Blood decks do support some decent healing, even in their aggressive stance, so the long game is not as much of a threat as it used to be. We do have to deal with this though, which is not good. The new legendary spell for Forest there is pretty hard to deal with normally, so having to sacrifice high value cards is very depressing. And now they're setting up their Whirlwind Roaches, so it's definitely a threat. Alright, so a full board. Not something I can easily deal with. Decided to go for the mono play, since I can actually trade into these pretty okay. And still retain some sort of board. We do only have 13 health though, and Still Injustice is not what you want to see. So they can deal at least 1 more with this fairy. They seem to be going for more, another Miracle Love, potentially 6 damage to face. But they do avoid putting me in Vengeance, which is actually going to work in my favour quite a bit. It's actually not bad, because most people do want to avoid putting you into Vengeance. Although I did have to leave myself pretty open here. They were literally 1 off lethal, but I couldn't come up with another way to deal with this turn. I had to buy myself at least another phase. Luckily I knew the Whirlwind Roaches weren't quite ready. They had a little bit to go still, knowing that they're only at 2, so they needed to get them to at least 6. So they managed to push it to 4. That on its own though isn't really going to be enough. And we got a really nice setup with the Steelrite and the Technolord. Since we do run 3 of those, the odds of getting 1 was getting higher and higher each turn. And it ended up with a 16 damage burst, easily wiping the board and managing to pull us right back up to maximum health. I think if they didn't mistakenly not put me in Vengeance, they definitely could have won the game. But that's part of the whole mind games when you're playing these. They don't know that Vengeance isn't going to just kill them outright, so they didn't take that risk. But, of course, this won't last very long, because this kind of deck will get worked out pretty quick by players, and once they learn that Vengeance is an issue when you're coming up against a Mecha Blood, they will not even worry about it. They'll just go straight face damage, especially as a Forest player. That's definitely what they'll go for. So, don't really need anything else. This mono, perfect enough to deal with lethal as it is, which is exactly what I was trying to plan out by setting them as low as possible. And it definitely did work in our favour. So I definitely had some fun playing the new Mecha Blood deck. It does do a fairly good job, and I definitely can't wait to see it more refined and just working better overall. It should be a lot of fun. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Your fun deck list in the description below. Until next time, guys, see ya.